What drew you to Great Expectations as the play that you wanted to adapt?
Well, I read it as a child, and in fact my father, rather strangely, acted in it. So in the BBC World Service, he was in the Bengali section, and he played Magwitch in Bengali. So that was the first time I ever kind of heard it and saw it. I must have been about 8 years old. Yeah, no, I just loved the story. I loved the rags to riches, to rags again story of Pip, as he is in the original. And I particularly loved Magwitch, and so I wanted to tell that story in my own inimitable way. Dickens is such a great storyteller, and I think out of all of his novels, perhaps this one is my favourite.
Yeah, and when you first read the novel, did you immediately see the parallels to colonial history and how it kind of reflected a lot of what India had been going through the British Raj, or is that something that came out of?
No, I think that's something that came out later, setting it in Bengal, which is really where my family are from and the history of my family. So it felt very natural and easy to do.
Yeah, but you've also set it during the partition of Bengal. Yeah. And why particularly that time period?
Well, I was quite interested in the idea of, for start, in the original novel, Pip goes to London to become a gentleman. And actually what happened in India at the time is there were a lot of Bengalis who were going to Calcutta to become English gentlemen. In terms of the partition, obviously the partition happened in 1947, along exactly the same lines as is in our play. So in 1905, Curzon did this sort of partition of Bengal along the lines of Muslims on one side, Hindus on the other. And it was almost like a sort of precursor to what actually happened. And this is what kick-started the nationalist movement in India, because they were so outraged.
We're talking about a time in Indian history and British history that we know so little about. There's been so much erasure about what the history was of the British Raj in India, what the impact was of colonialism, and actually the darker side of colonialism, just how much the British took and pillaged from that country.